100 facts about the 100 Mario characters. Let's do this. Mario. Mario's full name is actually Mario because Shigeru Miyamoto needed to give Mario and Luigi a surname for the original Super Mario Bros. Movie. And since they are called the Mario Bros, it only makes sense to make their last name Mario. Luigi. Luigi was actually Dracula's plumber in Castlevania, and this was revealed in an Easter egg where the player can find a scroll that states, "The terrible state of the pipes down here would perturb even my brother Mario. Some parts have rusted terribly, while others are covered with fungus due to the high humidity. Not all the mushrooms look good to eat either. Who knows what might happen if I eat one." Toad. From 1999 to 2008, Jen Taylor, the voice of Cortana from the Halo series, also played the voice of Toad, which is pretty funny to think about because the voice actress went from this:
a dozen Covenant superior battleships against a single Halcyon-class cruiser. With those odds, I'm content with 3, make that 4 kills. Sleep well?
To this.
Oh, hold on a second there, you got a fly on your face!
Toadette. It is hinted that Toadette has an evil side, because in Mario Party 6 and 8, Toadette has team names with the bad guys. Like, for example, with Wario, they make the Secret Friends team. With Waluigi, they make the Diabolical Duo team. And with Boo, they make the terrifying Twosome team. And so on with all the other villains. Toadsworth. It was stated on both the Super Mario Sunshine and Mario and Luigi Partners of Time websites that Toadsworth is Princess Peach's father, which would technically make him the Mushroom King, which is pretty cool. Captain Toad. Captain Toad was not the first game where a Toad starred as the main character. The first game was actually the 1994 Super Nintendo game Wario's Woods, where Toad defeats Wario's band of monsters that have taken over the peaceful woods. So I guess Wario is Toad's nemesis as well. Brick blocks. According to the Super Mario Bros. Manual, Bowser turned all of the Toads into brick blocks. So that means every time you destroy one of these blocks in the game, you are actually unlifing an innocent Toad. Pauline. Pauline was the original damsel in distress in the 1981 arcade game Donkey Kong, and nearly 40 years after her debut, she became a playable character in the 2018 Switch game Mario Tennis Aces, which has to be the longest running time between the character being created and becoming playable. Princess Peach. At one point in time, Princess Peach was considered to be a secret opponent in the Punch-Out Wii game, but the idea was scrapped due to the idea of violence against women, especially for the fact that every time you punch a character, they get bruised up. Daisy. Daisy made her first appearance in Super Mario Land in 1989, and in this game, it is revealed that she is a ruler of Sarasol Land, which is this Egypt-looking place from the game. And here's a box art to get a better view of it. Looks pretty cool. Rosalina. Rosalina is canonically the strongest character in all of the Mario games, and it really is no competition because she is like galaxy level. Even in my top 10 strongest Smash Bros video, I ranked her at number 2 for the strongest, and y'all should check out that video after this one. Starman. The stars of Super Mario are actually sentient and are their own species with 7-star spirits, with the spirits being L-Star, Mamar, Skolar, Muscular, Mistar, Clevar, and Kalmar. Luma. Baby Luma's coloring might be based on the color Cosmic Latte, which according to a team of astronomers is the most average color found in the universe, and the color looks like this. Twink. Twink was originally planned to be a partner for Mario in Paper Mario, but was ultimately scrapped and instead given to Peach as her partner. Yoshi. According to the official Nintendo character manual, Yoshi's real name, or his scientific name at least, is T. Yoshisaur Muchakoopas. And funny enough, in the same manual, Mario's scientific name is Homo Nintendodus. So the scientific names in the Mushroom Kingdom are pretty wacky. Yoshi Kid. In Paper Mario The Thousand-Year Door, Yoshi Kid can hatch into 7 different colors, all with different hairstyles. And along with that, when he joins your team, Mario gets to name him. And guess what I named mine back in the day? Swaggy. Yeah, pretty awful. Boshi. Just like Mario and Luigi, Yoshi is an anti-doppelganger too, and his name is Boshi, found in the Super Mario RPG game Legend of the Seven Stars. And a fun fact about Boshi is that he loves Yoshi cookies, which looks like these. Birdo. The description for Birdo in the Super Mario Bros. 2 manual states that he thinks he is a girl and would rather be called Birdetta, which would make Birdo the first trans character in video game history. Rex. Rexes are rare enemies in Super Mario World who simply act like Goombas, and I'm going to assume that they're related to Yoshi in some way. Cranky Kong. Cranky Kong is the original Donkey Kong that faced Mario in the Donkey Kong arcade game, which makes Cranky Kong one of the first villains in video game history, possibly just behind the ghost from Pac-Man. Donkey Kong Jr. There is a huge debate over whether Donkey Kong Jr. is the same character as the present Donkey Kong, with the argument being that Donkey Kong Jr. grew up to be the present Donkey Kong. But from everything that I've gathered, I don't think they're the same character. I think Donkey Kong Jr. is Donkey Kong's father, and I'll just leave it at that because it gets kind of confusing. Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong was originally planned to be in Super Mario World 2, and this is the scrap design of what he would have looked like. Diddy Kong. Diddy Kong Racing was originally known as Pro AM64, with the main character being Timber the Tiger. And cool enough, Timber the Tiger is still in the game, even after being replaced by Diddy Kong. Bowser. Bowser's roar, up until Super Mario Sunshine, was a stock roar from the Universal Studios sound effects library. And originally the roar was used for the 1957 film The Land Unknown. And this is what it sounds like. Blue Bowser. Early Japanese strategy guys stated that Blue Bowser from the Lost Levels is not just another fake Bowser, but actually Bowser's younger brother, named Blue Bowser. So that means every Blue Bowser you see in various Mario games is actually Bowser's twin brother, which is pretty cool. Dry Bowser. In Mario Party Island Tour, Bowser refers to Dry Bowser as a close family friend, so I guess they are different characters after all, and not even related. Bowsette. Bowsette is not an official character, but she might as well be. And her origins come from the crown power-up from Super Mario Bros. U, where the crown turns Toadette into a Peach-like character. And this inspired Twitter user AK92 to create Bowsette in a hilarious comic where Peach rejects Mario. Bowser Jr. Bowser Jr. is not the same character as Baby Bowser. Baby Bowser is literally Bowser as a baby, while Bowser Jr. is Bowser's only son. And the reason why I bring this up is because originally Baby Bowser was referred to as Bowser Jr. in the early strategy guides for Yoshi's story, so it can be quite confusing. Koopalings. Bowser's brother, the Blue Bowser, might be the father of the Koopalings, which would mean that his actual name would be Morty Koopa Sr., since one of the Koopalings is called Morty Koopa Jr. But this is just headcanon. Boom Boom. It is up for debate whether Boom Boom and Pom Pom are Koopalings, since both of them are stronger than the average Koopa and have their own boss battles. But from what I've seen, they are not Koopalings. They're just like distant cousins. Wart. Wart was intended to be another mainline villain for Mario, but was ultimately sidelined by Bowser. Interestingly enough though, Wart was the main villain of the Japanese game Doki Doki Panic. And fun fact, a lot of Mario characters came from this game, since Super Mario Bros. 2 is literally a reskin of Doki Doki Panic. Wario. Wario's name comes from the combination of Mario and Wadui, meaning bad in Japanese, so his name is literally Bad Mario. And funny enough, Mario is the reason why Wario became evil, because in the Nintendo Power issue number 44, Wario is shown having a rough childhood and being bullied by Mario himself, which is pretty tragic. Waluigi. While Mario specializes in fire and Luigi specializes in electricity, Waluigi specializes in water. And this can be seen in Mario Power Tennis where he fills the court with water and swims in the air. And even in Mario Hoops 3-on-3 he does something similar. And if you're wondering, I would say that Wario specializes in gas, 100%. Kamek. Kamek was originally meant to be a playable character in Mario Kart 64, but they were replaced by Donkey Kong. Goomba. This may come as a shock to you, or it may not, but Goombas are actually walking mushrooms. And according to Super Mario Bros. Lore, Goomba used to be allied with the Mushroom Kingdom, until they became traitors and joined the Koopa Troop, which is Bowser's army. Goombario. Goombario is the first Goomba to not be loyal to Bowser. And if you notice, his teeth are not sharp like the traitorous Goomba. So I wonder if all bad Goomba sharpen their teeth when they join Bowser's squad. Goombella. At the end of Paper Mario The Thousand-Year Door, Goombella writes a letter to Mario and says, "There's one thing that kind of weighed on me that I never got to express to you. See, well, maybe that's best kept a secret. And my question is, what is she hiding?" Just kidding, she probably has a crush on Mario. Goomba King. Goomba King, or now known as Goomboss, is apparently the king of all Goomba, which is pretty interesting to think about because it makes you wonder what his relationship was with Princess Peach before all the Goomba betrayed the Mushroom Kingdom. Were they like friends? Koopa Troopa. The reason why the Koopa the Quick, is abnormally big in Super Mario 64 is because his homeland is Tiny Big Island, a place where all enemies are either extremely tiny or extremely big. Cooper. Cooper's Mandarin name in Paper Mario is this, which is pronounced, bear with me here, Kamigi, which happens to be the same Mandarin name that the Pokemon War Turtle has. So I wonder if they're like related. Koops. Koops is very wimpy, and that's probably the best fact that I can find about him. Dry Bones. In Mario Party 8, if Dry Bones and Birdo team up, their team name is the Bone Chokers. So yeah, take that as you will. No sexual innuendos here. Mecha Koopa. Apparently they're good at math, and that's a fact. Paratroopa. Out of all the enemies from Super Mario Bros., Paratroopa and Buzzy Beetle are the only ones that have not appeared yet in a 3D Mario platformer game. But for some reason, Parabones, the undead version of Paratroopa, has. Parakarry. Parakarry is probably the strongest Paper Mario partner, since he can do a whopping 24 damage spread across multiple enemies with his air raid attack. Buzzy Beetle. This is what Buzzy Beetle looks like without his shell. Or it could look like this, a ball of flesh. Hammer Bro. The Hammer Bros in the original Super Mario Bros. Game will leave their position and start charging Mario after a certain amount of time. And I think it's after 70 in-game seconds or something. Spiny. Spiny must be an interdimensional creature because not only does it appear in several Mario games, but it has also appeared in 3 Kirby games and 4 Legend of Zelda games. Lakitu. In Mario Kart, Lakitu will literally pickpocket the player when rescuing them after they fall off the map, taking up to 3 of their coins. And this mechanic was introduced in the very first Mario Kart game, and then reintroduced in Mario Kart 7 nearly 20 years later. Lackey Esther. Lackey Esther was featured with Cooper and Parakarry on the Paper Mario pamphlet for Nintendo Space World 1999. And at the time, Paper Mario was known as Super Mario RPG 2. Piranha Plant. There is an unused flailing model of Piranha Plant found in the files of Mario Kart Wii, and this is what it looks like. It kind of reminds me of the wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube guy.
Hi, I'm Al Harrington, president and CEO of Al Harrington's wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man emporium and warehouse. Thanks to a shipping error, I am now currently overstocked on wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube men, and I am passing the savings on to you!
Yeah, that. PD Piranha. Apparently, PD Piranha is insanely powerful in the canonicity of Mario, because on the Versus Battles fandom website, it says that PD Piranha's attacking power and durability is galaxy level, which is pretty nuts, especially for a plant. Cheep Cheep. For some odd reason, a Cheep Cheep presents the trophy in the first 3 Mario Kart games. And not only does it present it, but it flies above them and spits it out, which brings up even more questions. Sushi. I can't believe I've never noticed this, but Sushi isn't just a fish, but she is a Cheep Cheep. Yeah, the same species that tries to eat Mario anytime they see him. Bullet Bill. On level 6-3 in Super Mario Bros, you can stop on a bullet bill in a specific location and suspend it in midair, and then eventually it'll slowly fall to the ground. Another fun fact is that this is what Bullet Bill looks like from the front. Kinda looks like Ghastly without the gas. Torpedo Ted. Yeah, that is correct. There's not only a Bullet Bill, but there's also a Torpedo Ted. And what do you know? These two enemies are based on the Wild Stallions, or as you may know them, Bill and Ted from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Blooper. The giant blooper holding the X sign found in the giant sea in Paper Mario the Origami King is currently the largest sprite ever used in the Mario franchise, with the size being a whopping 1600 by 1500 pixels. And here's Mario for reference. Podoboo. Podoboos are as old as Mario and Donkey Kong themselves, because in the original arcade Donkey Kong game, the fireball enemy from the oil drum is likely the precursor of Podoboo, making this enemy over 40 years old. Bob-omb. There is a soft lock in Paper Mario that involves the green Bob-omb in Cooper's house. All you have to do is speak to him while touching the small ledge behind him, and boom, quite literally, Mario will be stuck and slide in a paralyzed state while they explode. King Bob-omb. On the map Bob-omb Battlefield, there are 2 cannonballs that roll on the hill. But after you defeat King Bob-omb and revisit the map, there will suspiciously be 3 cannonballs rolling, which is pretty morbid. Bombette. Bombette can explode herself but not be unlived, which is pretty amazing. Admiral Bobbery. Gulliver from Animal Crossing mentions that he met Admiral Bobbery in Rogueport, which confirms that both Paper Mario and the Animal Crossing games are in the same universe, though I'm not sure how that works, since they're like made out of paper. Ninji. This is what Ninji probably looks like without their suit. Little white fluff things. Pokey. Pokey has gone through a ton of design changes, originally being green, then yellow, then having seasonal forms in the later games. Also, just like Wart, Pokey was a Doki Doki Panic character before being acquired by Mario. And not just Pokey Pokey, but a ton of characters, like Shy Guy, who is next. Shy Guy. No one has ever seen the face of Shy Guy. Well, everyone except for Luigi, who sees it in Mario Power Tennis when Shy Guy trips and drops his mask. And from the look of Luigi's face, he doesn't seem that disturbed, but more surprised than anything. Bandit. Bandits are actually related to Shy Guys, hence why they also wear a mask. And what's different about them is that they're tall and they like to steal, because they're bandits. Sidestepper. The Sidesteppers were Mario Bros' second ever enemy, dating back to the Mario Bros game from 1983. So this little crab has a ton of history behind it, and has been around for over 40 years. Fighterfly. The Fighterflies are another ancient enemy of the Mario Bros, and 20 years later in Mario Power Tennis, they almost made their first debut in 3D. But their model was scrapped, and probably for a good reason, because they look pretty cursed. Chain Chomp. Chain Chomps are not only an enemy in the Mario games, but also have been a recurring enemy in the Legend of Zelda games, dating all the way back to 1991 and Link to the Past, and appearing as recently in Hyrule Warriors, which is pretty cool. Monty Mole. On the cover of the NES Open Tournament Gold magazine, a Monty Mole is getting struck by Mario's golf club. So these guys have had it rough for several years, but it still has the sunglasses on, so it should be fine. Wacka. Wacka is an extremely rare mole-like creature that has only appeared in a few Mario games, and if you manage to hit it, one will drop a Wacka Bump, which is an item that heals Mario. Angry Sun. Super Mario Maker 2 made the Angry Sun look a lot less angry. It just looks like it doesn't care. Boo. Boos come in a variety of colors, with the colors being white, blue, pink, green, black, yellow-green, mint, brown, light blue, and yellow. King Boo. King Boo's Japanese name is Teresa, which comes from the Japanese words to be shy, which is why Boo doesn't move towards you unless you're facing away. And I gotta say, their hiding expression is incredibly cute. Lady Bo. Lady Bo has her own personal butler named Bootler, which is just great. Madame Flurry. At the end of Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door, Madame Flurry creates a play called Paper Mario, which reenacts the events of the entire game with all of the cast members playing themselves. Well, except for Mario. But what's spooky about this is that how do we know we were always playing the play? Because in the game, when we battle enemies, there's always an audience. So there might be a possibility of Madame Flurry having Mario imprisoned in her endless play, which would be very Boo-like of her to do. Vivian. Vivian's body can stretch to an immense height. And thanks to Super Mario Broth on Twitter, here's the extent of her stretching abilities, with Mario as a reference. Thwomp. Kellogg's and Nintendo did a collaboration and released a 5-card set of Super Mario 64. And on one of the cards, we can see the original design for Thwomp. Thwimp. Thwimps are cute little versions of Thwomps, and oddly enough, they have also appeared in the Legend of Zelda games. Womp. In the early stages of Super Mario 64, Womp was originally known as Wallman, and had a very different looking design. Womp King. Yes, there is a Womp King, so I guess every species of the Mushroom Kingdom has a king somewhere. Spike. In Super Mario World 2, spikes were known as base penguins, so I guess these creatures are part penguin in some way. But what explains the shell and claws exactly? It's a very strange creature. Blarg. Yes, this creature, Blarg, was planned to be in Super Mario 64, but was scrapped for unknown reasons. But if you use a Game Shark, you can actually spawn the Blarg in its full function, which looks awesome. Nep Enut. This weird character is a Blarg, but is water-based, and was actually planned to be in Paper Mario 64, but was scrapped as well. Wiggler. Just like caterpillars, wigglers go through metamorphosis too, and they become a flutter, as seen in Super Mario World 2. Chargin' Chuck. In the Nintendo Mario Mania Player's Guide, it states that there are several different kinds of Chargin' Chucks. It says there are Clappin' Chucks, Spittin' Chucks, Passin' Chucks, Lookout Chucks, Confused Chucks, and finally Diggin' Chucks, which is a lot of Chucks. Fuzzy. Development files for Super Mario World have 2 early designs for Fuzzy, and this is what they look like, with the third one being the final version. Dino Rhino. Wild dino rhinos will shrink after Mario jumps on top of them, and then they'll start breathing fire. So I guess these dinosaurs are also eating super mushrooms too. Watt. Watt is one of the only characters in Paper Mario that can actually deal damage to Star Rod Bowser, with a damage output being a mere 1. But hey, that's still pretty good to an invincible being. Miss Mouse. Miss Mouse's race is based on the Mouser boss seen in Super Mario Bros. 2. And this is yet another Mario character that was originally a Doki Doki Panic character, just like Wart, Pokey, and Shy Guy. Mallow. There is a Mallow plush that is quite possibly the rarest plush in all of Mario merchandise. And in the past 20 years, there's only been a handful of times that has gone up for auction. And from the most recent auction I saw, it was up in the tens of thousands of dollars. But for some reason, I can't find the eBay listing, so it might have been a fake one. But still, this little Mario RPG plush is incredibly rare and incredibly expensive. Geno. Geno's real name is a series of unpronounceable symbols derived from the Star language in the Mario universe. And this is what it looks like. Heart, music sign, exclamation point, question mark, I guess. MIPS. Remember that random bunny in Super Mario 64? Well, his name is MIPS, which stands for Microprocessor Without Interlock Pipeline Stages, and he was made to run test simulations on the Nintendo 64. But the developers loved him so much that they added him to Super Mario 64, and to this day he's still in the Mario games. Bully. Originally, the enemy Bully was named Motos, and looked like this. And crazy enough, this was only discovered a few years ago, after someone found the data in the game. Dory. In Japan, plesiosaurs are known as long-necked dragons, which is why Dory is called the Sea Dragon in Super Mario 64. Pianta. Piantas are pretty lovable in Super Mario Sunshine, but in Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door, there's a gang of Pianta living in Rogueport, and are led by Don Pianta, the mob leader Pianta, I guess. Gnocchi. The Gnocchi tribe's name is based on the Italian type of pasta known as gnocchi, and they even look similar to these noodles too. Professor Elvin Gadd. Professor Elvin Gadd debuted in Luigi's Mansion, and has surprisingly been referenced in a ton of Mario games. Like, for example, in Super Mario Sunshine, Professor Elvin Gadd was said to be the inventor of the Flood, which is pretty cool. Cappy. Cappy from Super Mario Odyssey was likely inspired by Big Top from Mario Party 8, and I'm going to assume that there is a species of sentient caps in the Mario universe. And finally, we have the Tetris Block. Yeah, that's right, these flying blocks are actually canon in the Mario universe, since a ton of Mario characters cameo at the end of the NES version of Tetris, and the fact that Tetris is listed under the Mario games in the wiki, so I'm going to count it. And there you go, 100 facts about the 100 Mario characters. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you want to watch another big fact video, I did a fact for every Smash Bros character. Just click on the end card right here, you will definitely enjoy it. And also don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell.